Okay, it is Tuesday. We are live. We are needle felting today. We're going to be trying to needle felt today. We're getting back into our magnet project where we were needle felting along with Bob Ross, but we were making little magnets. This is 3" by 3" wood square. This is what the back of my magnet is going to be. So we're going to felt on this. We're going to attach this to this, and then we are going to make a frame around the square using these, and then we'll just pop some magnets on the back, and then we'll be good. We won't be finishing it today. We'll be starting it today for sure. Finishing it, no. So we have followed along with Bob Ross a few times now. We've done so with paint. We have done so with needle felting. We've done so with gouache. We've done acrylic. No, we've done it with the oils, and I've done a couple with acrylic, but I think I prefer the gouache. The husband likes the way the oils come out. We'll get back around to oils eventually. It's hard to do the oils with Bean being so inquisitive. I can't have him jumping in the middle of an oil paint palette or trying to drink the paint thinner. So until he calms down a bit, we're going to have to put a pin in the oil painting for a while. So I'm going to grab a pen here. It doesn't matter what color felt we use, not really, because we're going to have it covered pretty much. For a while I was using the neutrals when I was going to have the edges showing when we were doing the wall hangings, but in this version the edges aren't going to show because we're going to have them all tucked into the frame. So alright, so I'm just going to use that as my template. Lost my pen nib here. And it's just a regular ballpoint pen, really, that I just used there. Alright. So, these were wooden drink stirrers that I ended up getting a huge pack of. I still have a ton of these. And I still have a good amount of these guys, even after we did, an entire season of following along. So for right now, I'm just going to tuck them down here, out of the way. They shouldn't disappear on me. Now I've taken to taping my border, or taping a border around these guys. It is completely 100% optional. I do it just in case I lose my pen in all the fluff being added on here. It's not going to keep it from warping at all, and it might warp a little bit. It might get a little bit askew, but when we're all done with the needle felting stage, we're going to take our square and lay it on top, and then we're going to trim off any extra that may have happened from just the piece getting stretched out as we're pulling it off the mat, or just, the way things happen. But I find that putting the tape border on here at least helps keep me in check, so I don't get too carried away. If I can't see the border, sometimes I'm like, oh, well, let me go a little bit outside it just to make sure I'm good, and then I end up like over here. So just, you know, kind of like a guideline here to keep me where I need to be here. And we can be a little bit over. It's better to be a little bit over than under with this. I mean, our frame will cover a little bit of the edge. So, you know, we'll make our frame. So we'll cover a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. So I just want to make sure that we have an idea of where we need to start and stop. So we don't get too carried away or under carried away. Okay. Now, as you are felting, if you do the tape guidelines, these will bubble up and bunch, because when we're felting in here, it's going to pull the fibers from the surrounding area inward. So this isn't going to be completely flat when we get done with it, but like the tape won't be, but that's fine. The tape doesn't really matter so much. I think I have completely borked these scissors.
Good job.
Right, I'm going to need to get a new pair of scissors. Yes, I am.
What did you do?
Remember, I was trying to trim off the tree toppers because they had broken off those Christmas trees outside.
Oh, yes.
And I tried to cut through the wire, apparently, and I'm like, oh, this is fine.
The thing that if you told me you were gonna do, I would have stopped. Yes, that thing.
And now it won't even cut felt.
Oh, no.
It's like barely cutting. I can feel it grinding.
And it's mostly because you're cutting with the very innermost edge. Because everything outside of that got damaged. Oh, hang on.
I thought you had fixed it when you got those
tried to, but
burrs off. But I'm gonna need to get new scissors. Might as well throw those ones in the trash. I still have my black and orange ones, but I've had those for years and they are showing their...
Well, we'll see what we can do after the holidays.
Here.
Oh, you just hold on to it for now.
Well, no.
Oh,
take them.
Well, you're not gonna need it again?
Eventually.
Yeah.
But I might be able to make the other ones work. I just didn't have them pulled out. Okay. So, we've got this. Now, we did season 31. I'm working backwards with the magnets just because I wanted to start at the end, because all of the stuff we have worked on has been from the beginning for the most part. So I want to start at the end. So we finished season 31. The playlist, those videos, those live streams, I archived on the playlist, Nisey Needle Felts. It'll be towards, not the very end of the list, but it'll be on there. You can just bring up the playlist and sort through the videos. I know there's a lot of videos on there, but I guess if you search needle felted Bob Ross magnets, those will come up. So we're on season 30, episode 1. I did not watch this from the beginning last night. I kind of skimmed through it to see what kind of color palette we were working with. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Imagine my surprise when I brought the video up at the very beginning a few minutes ago before we got started and saw that Bob has, you can see it in the bottom corner, he has black acrylic painted some tree silhouettes on there, and I'm like, oh dear, we can try to replicate with the needle felting. We can't completely do it the same way as the paint, because we kind of have to layer from back to front. We can't really put those silhouettes in before we do the background, so this episode might involve some backtracking just for how we're going to have to do it. So I'm gonna grab my needle felting mat and we're gonna grab our piece here. I'm gonna get my finger doodles, my finger covers. They're finger coats, finger protectors. I do recommend them, even though you can still stab through these and hurt yourself. It's not nearly as bad as if you didn't have them. Sometimes you can just glancing blow off of them. It depends on how heavy-handed you are. But I still recommend them to at least lessen any potential injury. And I'm using a size small needle. I do have the Bob Ross video muted. I have the link to it in the chat if anybody wants to go watch it uninterrupted, because we will be pausing it a great deal while we are working on this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit play on the video. I do have the closed captioning on, but I doubt you can really read it at the size that it's at. So the colors he uses are always the same basic ones, but he mixes a lot of stuff, so I kind of have to go off of what the mix color is and not what he's using to make the color. Now his is circular, oval, with the contact paper it looks like he did on this one. Ours is going to be square. I mean, you could try to pare that down. I'm not going to bother because I don't want to put a fake mat on this, and then we're going to be working even smaller if I attempt to do that, so I would rather just make it square and we'll figure it out. Now we are working a lot smaller than he's at. I think he was what, 18 by 24, 16 by 20, something like that. We are at 3 inches by 3 inches. Gosh, Bob. Okay. Yes, let's get on with it. So he's gonna take yellow ochre, which is kind of like a golden brown mustard. I do not have YouTube Premium, so there's ads. Let me get through the ad. I'm so sick of this Walmart ad. It's like 20 minutes long. Completely unnecessary. That's not an ad, that's a whole ass video. Okay, so he's kind of taking this. Did he mix it with any? Hold on. Did he mix it with anything else? No, just the yellow ochre. Okay, so it's probably gonna be like 2/3 of the background in this yellow ochre color, unless he adds something else to it. Well, okay, Bob, you've just about damn near covered the entire background in the yellow ochre. We can always change what we're doing slightly. It's never gonna look exact. He's making a brown. What are you doing with this brown, though? I always get nervous when he does these pre-placed trees with the black, when I'm trying to replicate it in this, because it's not gonna be the same, and we might not get the same effect. So what the fuck? Okay. So he took this weird brown color that he mixed. And he kind of did a ring around. How are we gonna? Sorry, I'm trying to think of how. In the hell am I gonna? Alright, so he's taking titanium white. And he's adding a light source in there. Oh boy. This is... Okay. I really should have looked at this a heck of a lot more carefully. So we're going to be layering a lot of colors to get this background on. What we are going to wind up with is going to look nothing like his. Oh my god. Are we even going to be able to do this? I don't know. 'Cause I'm trying to think of how these colors are gonna come in, right? And it's gonna look really blocky. Okay. Because I also have to get these branches and trees in the background. And if I put them in, they're gonna have to be on top of that, like, sunshafty yellow. Alright. That's probably gonna give me another ad here as I'm backtracking. Okay. He's gonna grab... What's he gonna grab here? Midnight black. Sap green. I thought I grabbed blue. Which is why I was really confused. I'm like, we're doing blue now? I'm just trying to get him to I just want a close-up of what you've done so far, Bob. That's not where I want to be. No, too far. Okay. We need to pick out what we're gonna do in this background. Color that fell off of the line here. don't know what color I want to do here because it's kind of yellowy, but kind of golden at the same time. So we can do either varsity gold or like a mustard. And I think the mustard is more of that ochre color that he grabbed. So I think we're gonna go with this to start. So this is Big Twist Value color mustard. So we're gonna... Bean scratched my finger this morning, and he like kind of... He didn't get very deep with his nail. He did enough to like the surface. I've got these little skin tags on it that keep like grabbing everything, making it extra annoying. Alright, so I didn't add a horizon. I don't know if the horizon matters at this point. So I don't know. How far down do I want to take this? It's pretty far down. Because it's got like in nooks and crannies and all that junk. I don't want to take it like all... It might have to come just about all the way. Unfortunately. I didn't want to do the whole thing in it, but we might need to. Somewhere about there. Keep losing this cap. It's clear. So I'm having a hard time keeping track of it on the desk. Alright, so I'm gonna grab a little bit of the fluff off of my bundle from my bag, and we're just gonna start filling in here. Now, my magnet's edges are... the wood backing is rounded. I am just going to go with like the squared off shape, because then when we go to trim it down, I'll deal with it then. The frame shape itself is going to be square on top of it, so I'm not going to have like the rounded corners. I didn't even think about the rounded corners when I grabbed the backing for it. I was more or less looking for something that was the approximate size that I wanted, that wasn't super thick. It's not as thin as balsa wood, but it's a little similar to balsa wood. So we've got our work cut out for us here. I originally had a piece of gray felt that I had left over from something. And I was like, oh, we can fit a magnet shape in here. And I probably could have, but it was a little close on the edges. And I wanted to make sure that I was giving myself plenty of room to work with. So when I get my yarn, I tend to fill up a Ziploc bag of fluff. Before I even use the color, just so I have it available. I kind of really need to find the time to start topping off my fluff bags. I've gotten a couple topped off, but I really need to find the time. I've been so focused with every spare moment I've had recently trying to get the editing done on that big project that I haven't had time to deal with anything else. So I want to try to find time for that. Like, I've topped off some colors as I've needed to, but I really need to take a few days and dig through every color and just top off every bag. Because it's definitely been a while. And it does take a little bit of time to do that. It's not, it's a simple task, but it's not a super fast task for me. So it will take a number of hours to complete. If I really stuff them full to bursting. Sorry we didn't do a holiday needle felt. I wasn't sure I'd be done it in time, to be perfectly honest, so that's okay. I mean, I could have tried to do like a simple wreath or something maybe, but it's alright. I wanted to get back into this because I need more magnets for the farmer's market because I think most of those got rehomed. I don't believe all of them did, but I think a couple did. This background color is blending in a little bit with our mustard color here. That is kind of amusing. It's hard to see if I have filled in where all I needed to be when I'm on that edge. So I'm gonna turn this guy around. Now, I just prefer to work in the smaller bits. You do not have to add water to this part. You do not have to add water at all if you don't want to. You don't have to shape it like this. You can just lay it flat down. I find it covers a little bit better when I do it this way though, personal preference, personal choice. A lot of people will just take a sheet out. And I'm using acrylic yarn. You don't have to use acrylic yarn. Oh, thanks for the Risa. Appreciate that. And how are you today, sir?
Zorts.
Yes, it does a Zort. I use acrylic yarn because it fits my budget better than roving. And I find I have a lot more color selection that I can reorder or reacquire. The sample bags, well, not really sample bags, but the bags of multicolored roving that you can order, you can't order a specific color. So if you run out, you're kind of fucked. I mean, you can order another sample set of mixed colors, but who knows what you're gonna get. I had like 15 shades of red that were not the same exact shade of red. Alright, you're having some coffee before you go and run some errands. Nice. Stay warm up there. I saw you guys had some snow. Was it last week? We haven't had any meaningful snow. I think we had a dusting. Maybe. That like melted pretty soon after it hit the ground. We've been doing nothing but running errands lately. So I think we're done with errands for the week. For the most part, like planned errands. I'm sure my mom will find a reason for us to leave the house. All these normal people around us. Like, oh, let's go do something. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. And I'm like, but there's people out there. There's a lot of people out there. Do we have to do this now? I miss 24-hour Walmart. I miss it so much. I'm not up all night anymore because I'm trying to stay to normal human being hours, but I really missed doing 1-2 a.m. grocery runs at Walmart. Yeah. Then we could do our thing, get in, get out. There weren't as many people in the aisles, so I could actually take a moment to think, did I forget something? Wasn't there something else that we didn't remember to put on this list? And I could actually look at stuff. I'll tell you what though, I am very pissed off. Who makes Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Is that General Mills? I'm really pissed off at them because they did not make the gingerbread flavored Cinnamon Toast Crunch for the holiday season this year. We have not seen it yet. If they did make it, it didn't hit our area. Or Walmart did not reorder it. So mad about that. We also haven't seen the cranberry ginger ale yet either. Which at this point, I'm beginning to think it's not going to be there.
Well, we also haven't looked for it. Yeah, last year it showed up pretty late.
Yeah, but I guess at the same time, we really don't have the money to buy ginger ale. To stockpile it either. Replacing that stove really fucked us over.
Hey, Zorts!
Yes, husband's here. Mother-in-law was supposed to leave tomorrow. That's not happening now. We don't know when that's happening now, because there was the family emergency yesterday, involving Russell's extended family. So we don't know how long they are staying now. We're not expected to attend any.
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say,
So,
I don't know that's gonna happen.
To clarify, because you might as well, a relatively distant cousin of mine passed away yesterday. He had a heart attack while driving to work and crashed and didn't ultimately make it. It is very distant for me. It's not so distant for my mother and my aunt. So they are currently dealing with things. He's also the child of the aunt that refused to treat me like a human. So I'm not inclined to interrupt her mourning time by trying to interact with her. I'm not going to be cruel to her, and I'm not going to make myself miserable either, because I highly doubt she wants me to be there. My mother passed on my condolences. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're already ostracized in the family because we haven't been showing up to family functions because his other side of the family throws a function at the drop of a hat, and there's a lot of them.
Well, used to.
Well,
very different nowadays, but
she had said the aunt, the mother of this person that had passed away, she had said some very choice words to Russell in the middle of a Walmart when he was struggling to leave the house and just function as a human being, and we didn't know yet that he was autistic. We found that out later. He got that diagnosis when he was trying to get his official disability and depression diagnosis. And he had saw her and he had apologized for not being able to make it to family functions because of his issues and his difficulty leaving the house. And she goes, well, you choose whether or not to be part of this family. And she said it in such a snotty way, and I'm like, excuse me? I was like, well, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I'm choosing not to be part of your side of the family. Thanks. Bye-bye. And then she whisked away, not giving Russell a chance to say anything in return. So she knew she was in the wrong. Like, wow. Holy hell. I'm like, well, that's it. I'm done being nice now. I'm done trying. I'm done with this woman. So anything that he did attempt to go to, he went solo. I'm like, nope. Sorry. I'm not dealing with that. And as it is right now, his mom and I, Russell's mother and I, we're to the point now where she says something and I get upset about it. So then I say something and then she gets upset about it. So Russell's decided that it's just easier for him if I'm not near his mom at all.
To be fair, at this point, neither of you need to say anything for you guys to be upset at each other, so.
But, like, she understands that's why I haven't come out and said anything.
It hasn't popped up in her mind.
Okay.
But then again, you don't normally pay social calls to her anyhow,
no.
So. Yeah, something like that, Zorts. To be clear, Zorts, you've been around a while. You know the stories I tell about the aunt that says horrible fucking things about certain parts of humanity?
Mm-hmm.
It's that aunt.
Yes.
Robert was actually a pretty good guy, all things considered. He wasn't the greatest, but he wasn't a horrible monster. So I don't want to, show up and torment his mother in her worst of times. So
I wonder if she was one of the people that was upset about the Krampus being in the Christmas parade.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
They had Krampus show up on a float in the city of Fayetteville's Christmas parade.
In Arkansas.
And so many people apparently were so upset that this happened because nobody knew that they were going to be in the float, and the person looked actually really good. They had like full makeup, like fake horns attached to their heads and attached to their head, and um full face paint and everything. And I actually thought they were pretty impressive looking, and apparently a lot of parents were upset because the kids were so upset nobody knew this was gonna happen. I'm like, you
They've
can't
been exposed to demonic influences.
I'm like, you can't talk about Santa and not talk about Krampus. I mean, come on, Krampus, whatever the heck we're calling him. Like, come on now. I think that's how the whole naughty and nice list thing started, wasn't it? Like,
yes, supposedly. But I do have to be honest, what I saw of that photo, I can see why the people around here would get upset. I get it. It's stupid, but I get it.
But they're acting like Christmas is only about Baptist-y things, and I'm just like, no.
Not really anymore.
Like, he is the reason for the season and all of that, and I'm like,
At one point, maybe.
you understand that his birth was
secular holiday at this point.
yeah, his birth was just kind of like lumped in for ease of other celebrations going on at that time of the year. You understand that it was just lumped in with winter solstice, right? Like okay. Excuse me, allergies have been absolutely destroying me the past few days. Which sounds dumb because it's been in the 30s and 20s at times, but there is something around here that my system absolutely hates. And it's pretty awful. I don't know if it's a specific tree, and I don't know if they're burning that specific tree in fireplaces around here or what. But it's been pretty awful. Like, my eyes have been watering and itchy and burny for weeks now, and I'm just like, please stop. And I'm trying not to take too much Benadryl, because that only kind of takes the edge off, and I don't want to sleep constantly, so I need to be somewhat functionable. But, oh my goodness. Is Bean loose?
Yes.
Okay. So, I don't know what he did with that mouse. Fake mouse, toy mouse. It's somewhere in the bedroom. He was playing with it, and I threw it in one direction, and I don't know if he ran off with it in another, but I didn't see it when I got up. He did try to bite my nose a couple times. Oh, are you certain that he doesn't lay on your face? Husband?
Not on it, usually.
Really?
Yeah.
He tried to kill me last night. He full on body laid half on my face to the point that if I kept my face pointed in the direction it was, I was inhaling nothing but cat fur. He was like laying on top of my nose, and I had to try to tilt my head very awkwardly so I could actually breathe. And I'm like, buddy, can I help you? And he's just purring away. And then he was trying to dig his way under my blanket, and I'm like, no. He hops on you, and if you don't start petting him, he headbutts your nose. Well, that's cute. Mr. Bean full on teeth engaged bites our nose, like teeth up your nostril nose bite. I'm like, what is your malfunction? Why? This is the only cat I have ever experienced that bites noses and sticks his teeth up my nose to bite it. I'm like, Mr. Cat, personal space. And it's the only cat I've ever had that does a battle cry. Like 3 out of 5 times he goes into the litter box to poop, he'll like all of a sudden he's like digging and he goes and then I'm like, oh my goodness, Mr. Bean. I was like, are we actually going potty or are you just playing in the litter box? Because he does that too. Like, Beans. Beans, we don't play in the litter box. Apparently Mr. Beans does. This kitten is crazy. But for as much trouble and chaos that he causes, he's actually brought out a change in Littles that I never thought we would see. Littles is actually playing with some toys now. And she's what seems to be, in her awkward way, playing with Mr. Bean. Where they are chasing each other back and forth. She's making her angry meows at him at times. But she's not shredding him to bits, so I think she's playing. She does not make the same noises as the other cats and not rip them to shreds. Like, she will full on fight Cow and Ed. Like, fur flying sounds like tomcats in an alley going at it. But she actually is playing with Bean. It's rather bizarre. She's been a lot more chatty. I don't know if it's because he's younger or she's older so she can be the dominant to him. I don't know. It's very strange. It's not a bad strange, but it is strange. He's the only one that she will not rip apart if he enters her little hidey cubby hole and she's back there. Cow tries to, and there is fur flying, and Cow gets poofy tail, and these two have an interesting dynamic going lately. Hang on. So I'm getting embroidery stuff for Christmas, and I don't know if we're going to stream that or if I'm going to record it. I was going to do my latch hook rug on stream that I'm getting. And then I realized, oh wait, the latch hook kit's kind of too big to fit into camera. So we'd only be seeing small parts of it at a time, I think. I mean, I can still try, I guess. I had a little bit of a thin spot right there, so I wanted to fill that in. So we are just working on getting our background figured out at the moment. I don't know what to do with this one. I did not realize it was going to be as complicated for the background as it turned out to be. My fault, really, but I am at a minor loss of what to do here. Because I did not pre-thumbnail this, or like thumb sketch this, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do here. I just don't know what to do. So we're gonna have to wing it and hope for the best. So I paused it where I did. And we're just gonna have to see how it goes. But at least we got a few things taken care of. Russell's name has been added to the water bill and the internet bill so we can make adjustments or changes as need be without his mom being here. Because we found out with Sam's, we couldn't drop the plan down that she bumped it up to. We were in there and it popped up to pay the renewal fee for next year, and we're like, I'm sorry, what? We're like, no. We're not paying that. Not for Sam's. No. That's too much. And he went to go deal with it at member services, and they're like, well, you just have a card. Your name's not on the account to make changes. It's not in your name. So then he had to take his mom back out there, and then they ended up closing her account and Russell reopening one so that he can make changes to it and have control over it. Because we only needed the basic account. We didn't need the plus account. That was ridiculous. We don't do deliveries from Sam's or any of that shit. I mean, we're there maybe twice a month. Once for us and once for my mom. And on the rare occasion that we ran out of something. I feel like I need something right there. That's like a weird... I don't know what's going on there. Alright, so I'm just gonna try to make a little fluffy bit here. We finished the log and the banana slug, so that's why we started working on this. I don't know that I'm gonna do the embroidery or the latch hook on a different day. I think we might just swap out from time to time from the needle felting to that. So we might just change this day on the schedule from strict needle felting to just fiber art day. That sounds like a plan. You know, if I ever finish editing this goddamn video. I'm on video clip 110. Out of 180. So we're getting closer. We are. It's just moving at the rate of very, very ice cold molasses. At least that's what it feels like. So it's been really difficult to get any editing done the past couple of days because Bean, actually like the past 2 weeks, Bean has decided he is fascinated with the top of my PC tower, which is under my desk, in a very awkward spot to get to. And if he would just sit there, it'd be fine. However, he's decided that all these wires look like so much fun to attack and try to bite. Wires that are going to very expensive camera equipment and computer speakers and my mouse and my keyboard. Mostly the camera wires, and I'm like, and the light panel wires, and I'm like, I don't think I can replace those light wires. I mean, I think the panel lights were $30, but that's still $30 that we don't have right now to replace. Yeah. Russell's finally scared Bean enough with angry human voice about fucking with the wires under his desk, at least for now. Bean just kind of looks at me when I yell at him to get out of there, and I can't spray bottle him where he is because computer, and it's running, and wet, doesn't mix. So, um, and then it becomes a game to him of me being angry and trying to pull him out. So he's doing it on purpose. And I'm like, motherfucker. So, and it's very awkward where it is, because my desk is up against a wall now. Because I had to move it from where it was originally because I kept pushing it and it kept sliding into the path of the door opening. And so every time the door opened, my desk was moving. And we were afraid we were going to break the glass or the door or something. So we moved it to here. Except I don't have room on the side part of my desk. I've got like a side shelf. It won't fit there. The tower's too long. It's a very large tower. So I'm like, great. So I've got it shoved in the back corner, which wasn't a problem, because I could still kind of get to what I needed to until Bean started climbing on top of it. So it's extremely awkward to try to pull him out of there now. Russell gets up when he's up there and he goes running. I get up and he just looks at me. Sometimes he'll run, sometimes he won't. But then it becomes like a 45-minute ordeal where I get nothing done because every time I sit down, he hops right back up there. I'm like, motherfucker. If he'd leave the wires alone, I wouldn't care so much. But last night he was fucking around so hard. Like there's like a kind of a built-in shelf in what used to be a doorway that somebody decided they were gonna put wood over to close off the room. Before Russell ended up and his mom getting this house, so it was there before they came in. So they put shelves in it. I've got a couple things sitting on these shelves that I don't use very often, but so that we know where they are. And I've got a little tiny footstool that we made that I put my feet on. And I'm sitting here and I felt Bean touch my leg and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, as long as he sits there, that's fine. And all of a sudden I see a head peeking up behind my computer speakers and I'm seeing these little tiny black feet touching the wall where these shelves are. And I'm like, oh no, you don't. I said, you're not climbing back there. There's too much stuff that's gonna fall. Like, I've got cans of air and some wax melts and some art sitting back there. And I'm like, oh no, 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 no. We're gonna stop that right now. And then he got tangled in the wire for my speakers and ripped one of them off the desk. And that fell and I thought it broke. I was like, oh great. I was like, can we not? The only reason I got these speakers was because they light up on the bottom. That and my other speakers, my Bose speakers, finally bit the dust. But I had those fuckers since like what? 2003, 2004, something like that. Till like 2 years ago. At the time we got them, they were $100. We each ended up gifting each other a set for Valentine's Day one year. Those were fantastic speakers. They definitely were worth the money, but I don't have the money to get Bose PC speakers right now. But everything else I've listened to that's not them just does not sound adequate. It sounds so shitty compared to them. I'm like, oh, great. I've been spoiled now. Had like one of the luxury car lines of computer speakers, and now everything else is just shit. Everything sounds so tinny and gross. It's like, damn it, Bose. I mean, I loved those speakers, but we did not have that kind of cash to replace them at the time. highly recommend those speakers. They got a very good life for the money. And I actually thought these speakers were black in the photo when we ordered them. They had, I actually ended up with two sets of similar speakers. I was like, well, I don't want this hunter green color. I want the white color. We thought all of the shades on the speakers lit up at the bottom. They did not. And I was like, I really wanted the lighty uppy ones. And then we realized that you could only get the lighty uppy ones in the like weird black hunter green color. And I'm like, that doesn't match anything that I have. I'm like, what? I don't know if I can pull it into camera frame. No, not that one. Maybe this one. It's like under my, oh, I need to dust. It's under my monitor shelf here. There we go. Now we're in frame. So it like has a little light circle underneath of it, which I loved. But yeah, these are like a dark hunter green. They live in the darkness under my monitor shelf now. I'm not a huge fan of those speakers. I think these were Pebble. Maybe it says creative on there. Maybe it's creative Pebble speakers. It was Pebble something. Sound isn't that great out of them though. But they weren't super expensive either, so I guess in that realm you're definitely getting what you pay for. Alright, I like to brush down the back here. Just because I feel like it helps the front lay down a bit flatter. We should be able to pay the stove off next month, thank goodness. Hopefully. At least this stove seems to be working a lot better. We're beginning to think there wasn't something right with that other stove from the very beginning. We actually got just as analog as we could of an electric stove. We have the hookups for gas, but I'm nervous using a gas stove. I don't like the flames coming up the sides. No thanks. I'd rather use electric. I'm more comfortable using the electric stove. So we have the coil burners once again. There's not even a clock on this thing. And I didn't realize it at first. And I'm like, so I said, so what time is it? And we both looked to the stove and we're like, oh. Shit. So we might have to put another clock in the kitchen. Maybe I'll make one. Get like a wooden plate or something. And paint it. And then we'll get the clock mechanism to put through the back of it. So excited we're getting a Michaels closer than the one in Fort Smith. Because I'll have a lot easier time convincing Russell to take me to the... Where is it? To the Rogers one that's coming than the Fort Smith one. I don't know that I really wanted to do a 2-hour drive round trip to go to the craft store though. I would have had to be spending like $500 to make that trip worth it. Now trust me, I can do some damage in an art store. But right now I don't exactly have that kind of cash to do that kind of damage. Even if Michael's is a little bit pricier. But I will say, a lot of the sales I've seen for them are better on their website than they are in person. At least as far as their canvas goes. Because I've seen 70% off canvas on their website. And then it'll say, or buy one, get one free in person or something. So I think I'd rather have 70% off everything than the buy one, get one free. I don't know. Because when the small canvases, like, and half the time they don't have the size that I want in store, so it's only on the website, but other stuff I would rather buy in person. And I'm so tired of shopping at Hobby Lobby. They keep discontinuing stuff, and I don't like shopping there to begin with. Like, I thought I had found a new paint brand to go with, and I was fairly happy with it, and it was like 99 cents a bottle, so it was more than what I was paying previously, but not too over the top. It was a price I was still kind of comfortable with. Replaced my entire paint stash with it because the other paint was getting old and clumpy and glumpy in the bottles. So like whenever I was squeezing paint out, it was just like paint clots coming out of the bottle is the only way I can describe it. So it was almost unusable. So I switched over to this new brand, and I've been using it since last December, because I got that for Christmas, switching out all of my paint, and we were in there trying to find something for his mom for Christmas and his aunt, and we didn't have my mom with us, so we were able to take a minute to look around a little bit easier without having to keep track of her too. And I went back to look at the paint real quick. I was like, oh, let me just take a look at the colors, see if there's a color I don't think I have. Maybe I'll grab a bottle or two while I'm here. And the rack was like almost empty. Like almost every color was out of stock. I think they had like maybe 15, 20 colors that the rack was full on, and they were colors. Oh, 1 second. And they were colors I already had. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, is this like a tariff thing? Like, what is this? But the paint's made in the US, so it can't be a tariff thing unless it was trouble getting pigments that weren't from here. And so I was like, okay. And then I happened to think about it again later, and so I went to the brand's website. And the brand's website had announced that Hobby Lobby was discontinuing selling them. I'm like, really? I just switched over to this paint. Spent probably $130 switching over to this paint, and now you're not carrying it anymore. In the course of like 7-8 months. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So now I gotta figure out what paint brand I'm gonna switch to. I guess it's gonna have to be folk art. Michael's is carrying the Americana. However, asterisk, I don't know what the deal is because they had a lot of colors out of stock too. So I'm really confused. I'm like, because their website said Michaels was still carrying them. And I'm like, okay. I'm real confused. Now, it was a little bit more than what Hobby Lobby was charging. I think, what was Michael's charging? Was it $1.25, $1.36? I don't know. It was more. Not leaps and bounds more, but it was more. And I was like, well, how much is it if I just buy it direct from their website? Because their website had options to buy from it. It was like almost double and then some. It was like was it $2.75 a bottle? It was something horrifying, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, this paint is not, I'm sorry, the paint's okay, but it is not $2.75 or whatever it was from the main website worth it. Like, I'm sorry. If I'm gonna pay that much, then I might as well just, you know, get artist tubes and cope. Because I think Golden might have some liquid bottles. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not, like, the specialty ones, I can see paying that much. Like, the color shifts or the specialty metallics and all. Okay, fine. But with the amount of coats that I have to do at times on specific colors, I was like, fuck that. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. That's too much. I crossed the line. Or that's crossing the line. I'll go back to Apple Barrel if I have to. I mean, that's what I started out using. That was like my super tight budget paint. And I did have to do a few coats on some of those colors. But at least, you know, the expectation bar was appropriately set because those were like 50 cents a bottle. So I was like, okay, you know, I know what to expect from this. I was looking at the reviews on their house label craft paint at Michael's, and it was very mixed. Very mixed. Some people were like, oh no, this paint's great, and some people were saying, some of the paint bottles, the consistency isn't consistent. Like, one bottle will be super thick, and then the next bottle will be kind of like runny, and I'm like, well, to be fair, some of the shades on the Americana, some of them were super thick, and then some of them were pretty runny like house paint, or super thick like artist tube paint. So I'm like, meh, okay. And then there was some like 1-star reviews. I'm like, oh, I gotta see what these say, right? I gotta see. And next to them, there was asterisks that said that these were sweepstakes entries. Now, I think it was from like a year ago. And I was like, okay, it was a year ago. Let me see what this says. And some of the, like, this was like a bottle of water with a couple splashes of color to it. And I was like, oh, that's a little different than being a little bit runny compared to a little bit thick. I was like, oh, okay. Hmm. Maybe I won't invest in that print. Because, you know, you definitely get what you pay for in paint. And, I don't want to be having to do 20 coats of a color like I had to do with the Anitas at one point. But Anita's is gone. They don't exist anymore. I'm pretty sure I had read that Hobby Lobby bought out Anita's, and now I think that they are just slapping the Hobby Lobby craft paint label on those Anita's bottles. I don't know if they even changed the formula. But I'm like, I've been there, done that. I wasn't that crazy about that paint brand to begin with. I mean, it was okay, but it was super transparent. But, yeah, so we might try to do the latch hook. I might just have to, like, keep folding it up. I might not be able to zoom out enough to show the whole thing as we were working on it, because the workspace is not that large. It's larger than the one desk I had, but it's not like a tool shop workbench size thing. What are you? Why are you in here? You look like a piece of cow fur. Or maybe Mr. No, you can't be Mr. Bean. I didn't have Mr. Bean when I last fluffed that color. That had to be cow. The last thing I need is a black piece of fur sticking out like a sore thumb in this orange background. So laying in the background color is always going to take more time. So sorry this isn't the most exciting, fast-paced project, but I'm also laying in a bit more of the backgrounds since I'm not sure exactly what I need to do here. So we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna focus on the background here to start with. Because we're already starting off different since Bob's got his round or oval shape, I should say. And I didn't do that because if we did the oval shape, I'd be cutting off a good amount of real estate to make the oval, number one. This is just some water. Just like a drop of water just to help make this easier to shape in my hand. And I can only work so small with what Bob is doing. This is probably about as small as I'm willing to go as far as painting is, or needle felting is concerned. Painting, I can maybe go slightly smaller, but the needle felting gets kind of difficult the smaller you go, but the smaller you go, the less time, in theory, it takes. It'll definitely take less time than the 8x10 size ones we were doing. And it'll still be faster than, like, the 5x5s. Most certainly. But we will do what we can here with what we have to work with. So, I mean, we're not trying to do an exact copy anyway. We're just kind of using Bob for inspiration and trying to make something similar. Right? I haven't looked at any of the other ones in this series yet. I'm not sure if this is going to be the most difficult one for me or not. What else do we have? Wood grain view. I don't know what that means, but it kind of looks like maybe a more normal one. That one, I don't even know what that one's supposed to look like because the thumbnail is of Peapod or one of the Peapod squirrels. That one might be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's a bird. I don't know if that's another bird or another squirrel. Because he like records these over the course of like a day or two, so he's gotta get those critters on the screen. So I don't know what some of those thumbnails are. I might have to at least watch them ahead of time and plan accordingly. Or it'll just be a surprise for everybody. Or at least a surprise for me and be like, oh shit, how are we gonna do this? I'm also not in the mindset of translating that to Magnet right now because I'm out of practice. We've taken some weeks off from this. I don't remember when we made the last one. When was the last one we did? September? The end of September? A little bit before then, because I was thinking about doing like a palette cleanser flamingo critter before we got started with Christmas stuff, but I didn't end up having enough time. I'm still pretty happy with how our flamingo's coming out from yesterday. I think the lights will look a little bit better once I get the other colors in there. But for my first time attempting to paint Christmas lights, regardless of the medium, it's not so bad. And I'm fairly happy with that flamingo. The wing could have been a little bit bigger, but it's fine. I'm not gonna fuss that hard. It'll be fine there for the time being. And it's just a silly little holiday painting. So I ended up getting, or I will be getting for Christmas, a embroidery kit that has a lot more of the different stitches that you can practice and stuff. And then I have plans, you guys. And Russell actually said it out loud before I said it to him. He goes, "You should try to embroidery some Bob Ross stuff." Like he saw a Bob Ross embroidery kit in one of the shops downtown, like one of the thrift shops. He goes, "Oh, we need to come back and get that tomorrow." And I was like, I was actually looking at that and the reviews on it weren't great. And he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like, I was looking at it. I was like, but I think I might be able to figure out something once I get some more practice in with the different stitches. I might be able to do something with it without a kit. But I have thread that I had to buy for backup for my mom's gift because I needed more of one color, and then I was nervous I was going to run out of other colors and I didn't want to have to come back. So we just bought like 2 sets of different shades so that I had it. And I have the hoop, and so I was like, "Oh, so when are you gonna embroider a flamingo?" I'm like, "I don't know." I was like, I kind of want to wait until I get my Christmas present because I got a kit for how to do other stitches, so that way I can increase my stitch knowledge, or at least have documentation on how to do the other stitches. Because I only know vaguely what stitches I needed to do for her present. But the kit of colors, of colored embroidery thread that I picked up or picked out has like transfer markers that either go away with heat or water or something, or they slowly disappear over time. And I want those because I didn't get any stabilizer or anything that I could use to, or like the, not the stabilizer, but like they have this stuff that you can put a design on and then stitch through it on top of your fabric. And then when you put it in water, the stuff that you put the pattern on will dissolve. I didn't get any of that. I kind of wish I had, but I wanted to wait to see how things go after I get the stitchy kit done. So I have a feeling that might keep me occupied for a little bit. And then I have one more. Oh shit. Did we wrap that? We forgot to get something for one of my mom's gifts. Like, I had gotten a set of 3 different chicken rooster embroidery kits, and I made one of them for her for Christmas. They're one of the other ones I was gonna make for her for Mother's Day. And the third one, I was gonna try to do it for Christmas, but he goes, no, let's give it to her and see if she can do it. If she can't, then, you know, then you can do it for her. And I'm like, okay. Except I forgot that the kit only came with 1 hoop to use on all 3. So we need to go and get another hoop. And we completely forgot about it. Damn it. I don't want to go back to the fucking Walmart Super Center. Ugh. They're doing some kind of construction project in Fayetteville, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. No idea. But it's been going on for a couple months now. On the main stretch of road that we have to drive down to get anywhere. It seems like to get onto the interstate and to go past the closest Supercenter and Walmart. I don't know why that like chunky seam is there, but it's bugging me, so I'm gonna try to cover it with this. So that's all this is about. I don't know if they're doing like if they're replacing gas lines. I don't know if they're replacing water lines. I don't know if they're just putting in new drainage lines. Because that stretch of road actually floods amazingly quickly in any kind of rain. Like, the water flying, we had to pull over in one of the businesses that had long since left their business coming home the one day because we couldn't see. People were driving like chodes. Water was flying everywhere. And the outer, like, not only was the outer lane going under pretty badly, but even the middle lanes were not great on the road leading up to the interstate, not the interstate itself. But they've got the one parking lot of Lowe's just destroyed. They like the one side of it, they've got all kinds of construction equipment, they've got all kinds of huge holes dug, there's all kinds of piping laying everywhere. They actually have so much of that parking lot destroyed. They're they're working like you turn off the main road and then you're on this side street and then there's an entrance into that parking lot where it's not just Lowe's but there's like a Goodwill, a Chinese buffet, um a pet supply place. There's a couple other stores in there and then you can turn into Walmart. And they've got like this black metal fence that runs down the one side of the parking lot, like from that entrance, that side entrance, like back to the back edge of the property. And they've got everything so fucked up there that you can't go in the side entrance as normal. They've got a huge hole dug there. They had to put in a temporary new entrance right next to it and take out a chunk of the fence. So you're like driving up onto where the sidewalk was and then around this hole to get into the parking lot. I was like, what in the fucking shit? Like, what the hell is this? And now they've started to dig a hole in the Walmart parking lot. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I don't know if this super center is the closest one to the university or not. There's two super centers in Fayetteville. I actually kind of think the other one out by the mall might be closer, but I don't know. There's a lot of the college kids that are in this particular super center that we go to the most. The other one is a good distance from us, and it's a pain in the ass to get to. So we have to really make sure that we need something from there, that we can't get it at the closer one. Because it's a hike. And really don't want to go up there with all of the Christmas shoppers in there and everything right now. Because our Christmas shopping's been done for a little while. What little Christmas shopping we did this year. We didn't want to spend a lot on Christmas gifts because we're trying to go away in April, so... And then the stove happened, and this April trip was what was supposed to be our November trip that we're supposed to take last month, and that didn't happen. Because of a host of reasons. Okay. We're getting there. I know it's a smaller square, but it still takes time to stab into it. The husband's weird about Christmas. He doesn't like getting gifts because he's like, don't spend the money, spend it on something else. And I never know what the fuck to get him. I ended up buying him a teapot that he had picked out. He said he wanted it, but now it's not working out quite so well because it's getting cold so fast. Like, not like an on the stove teapot. We have an electric kettle, like to put the tea in and then pour the tea out of, because his turbis that he had keeps spilling everywhere. I'm like, we could have just used a funnel, but okay. But it's that turbis, man. That fucker keeps shit hot for hours. I'll make tea, leave it in the turbis, I'll close the little spout on the lid, the drinky spout. I'll come back like 2 hours later and I go to take a sip of it thinking it's cooled down and friggin' burn the inside of my mouth. I was like, oh my god. Like, that's a little toasty still. Unexpectedly so. I might just tell him to take one of the funnels from the kitchen and make that his tea funnel. I think we have a bottle brush that you can use on the funnel. But we will see. So, he ended up, because my mom wouldn't let it go, he was originally going to ask her for RAM. She didn't have the clearance yet to get it the month that he decided he wanted RAM for his computer because he thought he had more in there than what he actually had. He goes, oh, that explains a few things. So, he picked it out and she got the money for it and the price skyrocketed on him. He goes, well, I'm not doing that now. He goes, that's ridiculous. I'm not paying that for something I don't have to have. And then he was talking about getting a Raspberry Pi so he could make something for us to watch stuff on out here. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't watch it. I'm like, I don't think you're going to get as much use out of that as you think you are. So he ended up asking for a 12-inch cast iron lodge skillet. And his mom had some old ones that he tried to resurface because they rusted because they were left somewhere and they were gross, and he tried to fix them and he could not fix them. They were that bad. So he ended up getting this 12-inch cast iron skillet, and he got a chainmail scrubby cleaner for it, and ordered one of those like silicone covers to put on the handles. And the main reason he wanted it was to make deep dish pizza. Like he used to get at Pizza Hut when he was younger. Because he hasn't been able to find a decent deep dish pizza anywhere else down here. And I'm like, okay, I mean, we could just like use a cake pan. He goes, no, it has to be the cast iron. I was like, all right. He found, actually, I was scrolling through YouTube and had a video suggested to me for like a dupe for the Pizza Hut deep dish. And so I sent him the video or whatever, and he printed out the recipe. And like with the length of cooking time and the temperature and all. And I was like, do they give you a dough recipe? Because I don't know if the dough recipe that I've been making is going to have the same cook time in that pan. And he goes, it's not real helpful. It just says 10 ounces of pizza dough. I was like, okay. So he talked to my mom, because my mom's real big on, you're not getting it till Christmas. Even if you picked it out personally, have already touched it, and know what it is. She still insists on wrapping it and making us open it. I'm like, you understand this is such a colossal waste of paper, right? When we already know it. She goes, shut up and just open it. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'm like, I'm trying to save you money on buying wrapping paper and all this tape that you didn't need when we already know what the hell it is. I was like, we don't need to go through all this unnecessary pomp and circumstance when it's something we already know. But she insists on wrapping it all and that we can't have it till Christmas. And she was gonna wrap his cast iron pan. He somehow managed to talk her into letting him have it early when I made pizza the other night, so he could try it out. It was supposed to be pre-seasoned, but he did a seasoning cycle on it in the oven anyway. Just to make sure. I think he just wanted to play with it, to be perfectly honest. And he was actually tickled with how the pizza came out. And then my mom's like, well, I'm taking it back and wrapping it. And Russell's like, good luck, it's greasy as shit. Because I had to do a seasoning on it. So now it's all sorts of oily. She's like, you did that on purpose because you knew it wouldn't be able to be wrapped afterwards. He has such trouble to buy for. I'm like, I don't know. And then I talked him into getting the blocks of wood to do or to use with the wood carving tools that he got, I think, last year or something, but he'd never gotten the wood. But he ended up getting some blocks of wood and some smaller wood carving tools because the ones he had were a little big. Though they did come in handy when we had to fix the door. So we had to replace the doorknob and on my mom's door because it kept sticking. And of course, nothing in this house is standard size or anything, so he had to chip out some wood on what was left of the door frame that was poorly put in there to try to get this to fit. So they did come in handy for that, but can't remember if it was the door or the door frame. He had to make an adjustment on something. I was like, really? We had to get the new stove. We ordered the new stove, right? And like 2 days before it showed up, I was like, how big is this? Because not one single doorway in this house to go outside is a standard size. We lucked out with the last stove where it was small enough where we could get it in through our front door, no problem. We didn't even think about the measurements on the stove when we ordered it. And I was like, oh no. And we kind of had a panic moment and we're like trying to look at the dimensions on the website and we're frantically measuring like every doorway and we're like, well, if we take the door off the hinges here, it might fit. And I can't remember if he emailed Home Depot or if he called them or something. But basically they have a way where if it wasn't going to fit, we could start a return process with the delivery driver. So I guess it's happened before. I imagine. If they have a system in place. I was just like, oh shit. It's like, we're such idiots. We know these doors are an issue, but for some reason, we didn't even think about it. But we had to take... Did they take the door off of the stove? The oven? They didn't, and it fit. We had to take at least 2 doors off of hinges to get it in the house, though. And we did not realize how much larger the new stove was compared to the previous one. I don't know if it's because it's the coils and it needed more room or what, or if this oven is just a larger capacity. It didn't feel like a larger capacity oven on the inside, though. But the stove itself is much bigger. It sticks out a little bit further from the wall. It feels a little taller. What was that? Did you just use something out in the kitchen?
I had made something.
There's like a metal dong or bang or something.
Just like that. Yeah, it's little playing.
Playing or trying to murder each other?
Not playing, it looked like.
Okay. Because with little, there is a distinct difference. I'm just trying to make sure I don't have any thin spots happening here. Like, I'm not real sure how we're gonna make this happen. Because he's got those trees in there in black, right? And then he put the color over top of it. He did this background color, and then he came in with like a lighter sun color, so it kind of looks like stuff's washed out, almost like a sun flare on like a camera lens or something, or sun striking through the trees, so like the background trees are kind of washed out now. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Because he took that dark brown and swathed it in all around on top of the black trees. And you can kind of see these other trees back in here, but if I put those trees in before I do the lighter sun color, it's going to cover them entirely. Like, you can't see through it. There's no transparency there with fluff. I don't know. I can try something with maybe some shades of gray. Trying to work something in the background, maybe. After I do the lighter colors, maybe. I really don't know how to do this and make it work, so we're just gonna have to figure it the fuck out, I guess. Like I said, this one's not gonna look very much like what he's got happening here. I'm still struggling to figure out what I can do here. Like, I've got some really light grays. And I kind of wonder if I might have to do like a combination of them. I might not put straight white in the middle though. I might take like a cream. I might have to put a straight white in the middle somewhere there though for the sun, but oh gosh. This one's definitely challenging at the moment. For me. Let's just kind of keep going on with our background color here, because no matter what we do, that needs to go in first. We will get this put in. Okay.
truck.
I wonder if they were reading water meters. No, it's too soon to read water meters. I don't know. They went on their way.
Oh, they already left.
Yeah.
Must have been doing something.
Because it's way too soon, because we just paid the water bill. I don't know what that was about. And we definitely paid it. Okay. So, did we have to sign up for a different bag plan, or are we still on the highest bag plan? I didn't know if they had changed it or not when they changed their system. Okay. I would at least like to get our background color, and I know we haven't gotten too far today. But this was quite a bit of real estate here. Just a minute. Sorry, my mom wanted us to get Bean. Alright. Oh, it was some kind of city truck because it had little yellow flashy light on the top of it.
Well, he's locked up. I'm gonna go out.
What?
I'm staying there with her. And
No, 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 that's not what I was gonna say. Are you doing the water now, or
should. Yeah.
before it gets cold again later? I don't, there was like a pickup truck that pulled up out front and was kind of like parked in the shoulder facing the wrong way, half on our property. And I thought I heard a metal noise that kind of sounded like the lid being put back on the water meter, but they already read our meter, so I'm real confused. Because it's too soon for them. Ow! Fuck! I didn't stab myself, my ankle just got stuck and snapped very painfully. We're okay though. It just hurt like a bitch. Sorry. Yeah, it's way too soon for them to be reading the meter again. And nobody called us about a problem. And we definitely paid the bill, so... Of course, this month is going to be a lot higher. Because they're here with the RV and we keep needing to fill their water tank. So Russell and I are going to have to help my mom with the water bill next month. Because I highly doubt they're gonna give us money to put towards the bills that they've run up while they're here. They ever so rarely do. Still salty over that RV outlet. That was some bullshit. And I still don't understand why we had to pay for it. Why we had to pay the majority of it when it's not our RV. Oh, I'm so mad. When they're the ones that insisted on plugging the RV into a non-RV rated outlet and couldn't understand why they kept tripping the circuit breaker so very much and tripping the RV circuit breaker. Oh god, that's right, you guys don't know. What the fuck? Why? How many times did this go off? 1, 2, 3. Was it 3 times? 1, 2. Yeah, 3. What's this say? Okay. Asshole. We're reporting this. So, last night, his mom called him from Outback and was like, can you bring a screwdriver out? We need to change the batteries in this smoke detector. It won't stop going off. It wasn't a smoke detector. It turns out it was a propane leak detector, and it was hardwired into something with the RV. So there was no battery to change. So then his aunt left to go find a some kind of air quality testing meter or something. I thought she was going to get a CO2 detector, or a carbon monoxide detector. Then his mom's like, well, I need to go get a new cap for the propane tank, because that's probably what it is. And Russell's like, what? And I'm like, why can't your aunt get it while she's already out? So he had to stop what he was in the middle of doing, take her to the hardware store before they closed real quick so she could get this. Thing's still going off. Russell can't smell any propane whatsoever. And he said it reeks. I don't know. I've not used propane like that. He goes, no, it smells as bad as natural gas when it's leaking. I'm like, okay, if you say so. Then he's out there in the dark with a flashlight and a bottle of soapy dish liquid, spraying it all over the propane lines, trying to see air bubbles coming out for where this thing is leaking from. Can't find a fucking thing. Then he was doing some more reading on it. Well, these sensor detector things only have like a 5 to 7 year shelf life or lifespan, and they've never changed it out since they've been driving around, since she's had the RV, and apparently dust can also set off the sensor. This was a 2.5 hour ordeal. Russell checked the vents. He goes, they've never cleaned those vents ever with the amount of dust that was in there. I was like, oh my fucking god. Seriously? I was like, well, they never cleaned the rest of the RV either, so, I mean, are you really all that surprised? Try to post a link to website name I am not going to say out loud. Let's submit that, and we'll block that, and welcome to my ban list. Moobot didn't trigger on that, so I think the auto mod caught it. I need a vacation. I need a vacation from all of the fuckery. All of it. So, he cleaned out the vents, and then they never cleaned around where all of the circuit boards are for everything that controls the RV either. I was like, are you kidding me? So he cleaned that too, and it hasn't gone off since. So it must have been too much dust, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. They were supposed to take this dog to the vet tomorrow, Thursday, which is why they were going to be leaving tomorrow. That, and it's too cold for them to stay because they're burning through propane to heat the RV. I'm like, y'all came in December. What were you expecting? Like, what? We tried to tell you. But they weren't sure if they were staying for the celebration of life because apparently the guy's being cremated. And they don't know if they're gonna do the celebration of life in a timely manner or if it's gonna be months from now. It sounds like it might be in a timely manner because his aunt, two of her kids are coming down from New Hampshire. And now, so the aunt wants to stay to see her two kids. I'm like, I thought you all were concerned about how long this was gonna take. Because y'all don't have money for propane. We had to buy the last tank of propane, which I wasn't happy about either. And, I'm like, she just saw them. Like, a month ago? 2 months ago? She was in the one kid's face, like, non-stop at their house. I'm like, alright, whatever. Maybe I just like my space. I don't know. And then his mom's like, well, we need to fill the water tanks in the RV. Or the water tank in the RV. And he's like, okay. But we also have to go to so-and-so's house, one of the other sisters. And he's like, okay. Like, he didn't understand why they were saying this if they were on their way to leave. Like, your point would be? I said, just do it while they're not here. It'll be so much easier for you. And then we can undo the hose again and put the cover back on it because the temperatures have been below freezing. And he had tried to hook the hose into their water line in so they didn't have to rely off the tanks. And he goes, well, the water's dripping. He goes, it's not a very fast drip. And I was like, uh-huh. And I went out there and looked at it. I'm like, in what universe is that not a fast drip? And he goes, it was not dripping that much when I started it. And so he turned it off and he filled their tank instead and disconnected it. And then he was somehow a couple days later, he was looking at the water line in thing again. One of the O-rings on the outer side is rusted through or disintegrating or something, which is why it was leaking so bad on that side. And apparently there's another O-ring in the interior wall somewhere on the other side of that connection that is in the same shape that they can't get to themselves to fix. I was like, just fill the tank. We cannot afford this water bill. Because if that's going to be dripping constantly, this is going to be like a $500 water bill, and nobody's got money for that. Please don't. For the sake of my blood pressure. As it is, we're going to have to be very tight budget while we are gone in April. We have to make sure that there's food here for the guinea pigs and leave his mom money to get more food for the guinea pigs while we're gone because the lettuce only lasts so many days. How long are we even going to be gone? I'm nervous that we're not booking a hotel ahead of time. Let's see. Myers. So, a half beach day here, a full beach day there, the flea market, and mini golf, and then another half beach day here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Picking my mom up that night. Probably leaving town there. 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. We might be gone like maybe 10 to 11 days. Because we're driving down there. We're gonna try to do the drive in 2 days. We've done it before in 2 days. At least in one direction. We never seem to be able to do the drive home in 2 days for some reason. But this time we're picking my mom up the night before we leave. So that way she's with us the morning we're leaving, so she's not dicking around at my aunt's house burning daylight while we're trying to get her the hell out of there. I'm like, how early do they get up? Because we're going to want to be on the road by 8 o'clock in the morning at the latest. And she's like, oh, maybe I should just spend the night with you. I don't know if I can be up and moving that fast if I'm staying with them. I'm like, okay, well, that's another night that we have to have a third person fee in the hotel. But that's the only way we are getting out of there without having to spend the night in Georgia. And no offense to the state of Georgia, but every time we've stayed at a hotel in Georgia, it's not gone well. There's always been some sort of problem. The one trip we stayed, and I guess, I don't know if there had been tornado warnings there earlier before we got there, or what. There was something going on where food delivery trucks didn't make it to the one restaurant, or a couple different restaurants, they were delayed or whatever. So where we decided to eat at, they didn't have half of the stuff on the menu, and then the other stuff that I ordered, it was wrong. They charged us for one thing and then came back and they're like, oh, the truck didn't come, we don't have it. And then Russell's like, well, okay, can you just refund us that amount? She's like, we can't do refunds. And I'm like, the fuck you mean you can't do a refund? What are you talking about? Everybody does refunds. You can do a fucking refund. They're like, I can't do a refund. Like, I can give you a gift card. We don't have any of this restaurant locally anymore. The one we had closed. What the fuck good is a goddamn gift card gonna do me? they gave us a code for a gift card, or gave us a gift card or something, and I'm like, this is no good to me. They were adamant that they could not do a refund. I'm like, what if we canceled the whole order? Then you'd have to do the refund. Because now I don't know if I even want to eat here. So bad. So fucking absolutely done with that restaurant. And the hotel was a little strange too. It was a Holiday Inn, but it was an older Holiday Inn that hadn't been remodeled yet. And I was just so tired and so done. And I'm like, the fuck? And the next trip that we had to come through there, a lot of the hotels didn't have room available because of, I guess, Hurricane Helene moving through. They either had people still evacuated in them and they were full, or they didn't have power yet restored, and so it was like hell trying to find a hotel in Georgia on the way home. We found availability finally. Where the hell were we? Were we in Macon? It might have been Macon or somewhere close to it, at a regular Holiday Inn, not an express. And they were like in the middle of renovating as well, so there was some in construction noise. I'm like, at least we're only here for the night. I don't know what the fuck happened, or what contractors they had working in there, or if the room we were in was slated to be remodeled and it just hadn't happened yet. But when we walked into the room, they had like the laminate floor down. And I stepped down and I'm like, "Oh." And the husband goes, "What?" I said, "The floor's crunchy." And he's like, "What?" And like I took a few more steps. I'm like, "The floor is crunchy?" Like the surface looked fine, but when you stepped on it, there was like air bubbles or something. And I guess it was the sound of the surface hitting the adhesive backing or something underneath of whatever they put down under it. And he took a few steps and he goes, "Ew, yeah." It felt like you were walking on air bubbles in flooring, and it was weird. And I'm like, right. We went down to the front desk and we're like, "Hey, I don't know what the deal is, but we want to make sure you're aware. It feels like the floor in that room has like an air bubble under the surface of it, and it kind of sounds crunchy when you're walking over it." They're like, "Oh yeah, we know. That room's hasn't been renovated yet. We're in the middle of doing renovations." Because we saw the sign up about "Pardon our appearance" for the construction that was going on. Like, yeah, that's one of our rooms that hasn't been redone yet. And we're like, okay. Just so you're aware. I mean, it would have been nice if they had said something to us, but then maybe we would have been like, "You don't have a different room?" But at that point, we were just happy to have a room that had some food options that we ended up ordering food in for. Maybe it wasn't no, I think it was a full-on Holiday Inn. I can't remember if we paid for breakfast there or if breakfast was somehow included in that one. I know it's included in the expresses, but we were not impressed with their breakfast. And I don't really like wheat bread at all. I don't like the texture of it. And apparently their French toast was on wheat bread. And I was excited at first when I saw the French toast. And I'm like, oh, hey, French toast. And then I took a bite of it and I'm like, oh, this is on wheat bread. It's not on white bread. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not. I'm good. Thanks. I'm real good. Can't tell. Is that a thin spot or is that just the color? I guess I'm not going to worry about it too hard with the color of the background fluff being yellow. That might end up just blending right in. You're done filling that already?
Yeah, it didn't take long when the hose actually works. I wasn't out there with your mom this week.
So did they actually need that much water then?
It was at a third full. They didn't let it run dry like they did the last
I was gonna say the last time it seemed to take forever. Expecting him to be like another half an hour out there filling their water tank. Alright. As much as I want to finish filling this in, my neck is killing me. All these temperature jumps have not been great for it. So I think we're gonna pause there for today. As much as I want to finish that spot. So we will pick this back up next week. I will be back tomorrow. We will be doing some Planet Zoo tomorrow. We will be continuing to work on that food court. Is she back in?
Yes.
Okay. But we'll pick that up tomorrow, but I need to stop for today. So, yeah, we'll be in zoo tomorrow. I don't believe we're gonna do a stream on Thursday. I need to catch up on some stuff and some editing and whatnot, so no extra stream this week. I need to try to get some Little Known Galaxy recorded. I have some going into January. I just don't know how much I have. I might wait and work on that later, but I'd rather have a batch recorded. I only have 2 episodes that need to be edited right now. I'd like to have a few more. So that way I can just edit them real quick together when I need them. It's a lot faster to just edit them when they're already recorded than to be panic recording and trying to edit at the same time. So no extra stream this week, but I will be back tomorrow. So thank you guys again for hanging out with me. Thank you for the resubs, Zorts. I do appreciate that quite a bit. If you're even still here. Have fun with your errands. Don't forget to follow the social links down below. That will take you to the Ko-fi, the Blue Sky, and the YouTube channels. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Planet Zoo.